Can't say I watch many Flyers games. Oh my God, yeah.
I think delegating the game
So hard for a goalie to make.
Thank you. Thank you.
What is your thoughts?
Is able to re-sign Rantanen?
Welcome to the Dumb and Chase podcast. I'm your host, Dylan Robillard, with you as always. And today we have another special guest. We have Aidan Park joining the show. He's a top 2025 NHL Draft prospect, and I'm very excited to have a conversation with him here today. Keeping it short and simple today. You guys know where everything is in the description. If you're listening on Spotify or anywhere you find your podcasts, please consider following and hit that like button if you were on YouTube. All right. That's all I got for you guys today. Here's my interview with Aidan Park. Yeah, I'll just hop right in. So how's it going? Transition with Calgary and stuff, and you're probably back home now, but
I'm actually at Will Zeller's house. I'm staying here for a little and then I'll
oh
go.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, yeah, so obvious question. Take me through your last couple of weeks, going from UCHL, finishing up with the Green Bay Gamblers, and then heading to the WHL for a short bit. Kind of just talk me through that decision. Kind of, was it just because you want to play some more hockey, get your name out there a little bit more, or kind of what was your thought process there?
Yeah, so our season ended on a Tuesday in Madison. So then, we drove back to Green Bay. I woke up that next morning and with a few missed calls, and my agent had called me telling me Calgary wants me to come play with them in playoffs. And at first I was kind of in shock because I'd never seen something like this happen before. And I was like, is this even possible? But then, as the day went on and I talked to the Calgary staff, and my agent, I realized it was a really good opportunity. I mean, I just love competing, love playing in like playoff hockey. So I just wanted to keep playing some more hockey, and the chance to do it in the WHL and like in a battle of a series, I figured it'd be a great opportunity. It'd be a ton of fun. So yeah, I signed the contract that night and then flew out the next morning to Calgary.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how things can happen now with all
I
like
know.
the transfer options and stuff. But yeah, it was kind of a shock to everyone. Like, obviously, we spoke a couple days before that, and then just like news breaking on Twitter and stuff, and people were like, "Is how is this even possible?" It was because you were
Yeah.
like drafted by them and stuff like previously, and so it all kind of
Yeah.
worked out. Yeah, kind of just take me through like that adjustment period, like that fast, quick turnaround for you, getting into the locker room, new
Mhm.
guys playing in
Yeah.
like 2 days after, and just kind of hopping right into another playoff series.
Yeah. So, Wednesday was my last day with the guys in Green Bay. And then Thursday morning, I flew out. All of Thursday, I was traveling to Calgary. Got there Thursday night. Got to my new Calgary billet house at like 11 o'clock at night. And then I had to wake up the next morning, go to the rink, do physicals, concussion tests, and then I was playing that night. So it was a crazy fast turnaround. Um, and then it's a whole new system, new coaches, new teammates, new league. I was playing a different position, so I mean everything was different. But I think it was and it's tough when everything's that different with that short of a turnaround. But I think it was a really good experience. And I think one day hopefully my college season ends and I'll have to play in the American League, and it'll be a similar experience to that. So I think I learned a lot from it, and hopefully when that time comes, I'll be more ready. So it was a really good experience, and I'm really happy I did it.
Yeah, because I mean, yeah, I was there in attendance that Friday night, and like your first shift, you almost scored. So obviously, it
Yeah.
wasn't like too big of an adjustment for you. Moving on to kind of Michigan now and stuff. Why did you decide the college route? Obviously, more options now with everything, but was college something you always had on your mind, and kind of why Michigan?
Oh yeah, I mean, growing up, I always wanted to go to college, play college hockey. It was always a dream of mine. And then in terms of why Michigan, my junior year of high school, I took a few visits to the last three schools I was really thinking about going, and I took them all within like a month. And I remember, after I took my last three visits to my final three schools, I just kind of had that gut feeling with Michigan. Just being there, meeting the coaches, some of the guys, it was unbelievable. I loved the culture there, and I loved the coaching staff. I really liked Coach Narado. He has great, like one of the best hockey minds I've been around. So I think it was kind of a no-brainer, and I just kind of trusted my gut, that gut feeling, and committed there. And now I'll be going there in the fall, and I'm so excited.
Yeah, when did you kind of fully commit to that and just how was that experience?
It was, I think it was no, it was around November of 2022. So it's been a little bit since then, but I just remember being so excited, and I just knew that it was the right place for me, and I couldn't be more excited.
Yeah. Getting into your game a little bit, like personally, how would you best describe your overall game?
I'd say I'm a competitive 200-foot center, with playmaking abilities who can play in any situation.
Yeah. Would you say you're more comfortable at center or like obviously you can be versatile and play the wings, but down the middle, is that more comfortable for you?
Yeah, I mean, I've played center most of my life, but I've also played wing a little, and I think I can. I'm versatile like that, so I can also play wing. But I'd definitely say I'm a natural center.
What are some areas that you think you've developed to make you verify bona fide draft pick this year? Because obviously you're re-entry and stuff, but what are some things that you think you've worked on over the last couple of years to really just focus on and just get yourself to that next level?
Yeah, I think two really big things that I worked on a lot, especially this year. I worked on my skating a ton this year. I'm still keeping contact with the Shattuck skating coach, so she helped me out remotely, and I'd work on it a lot after practice. And then we have an assistant coach who has a power skating background, and he helped me a lot too. So I'd say skating, and then net front. I scored a lot of my goals this year, net front on the power play or 5-on-5. And I think just, working on it in practice, whether it's tips or scoring from the side of the net or just stuff like that, just working on it a lot after practice. I think it helped me to score a lot this year around the net. And I think those are the two things that I've worked on a lot this year that have really helped me.
Yeah, I know you just mentioned net front battles and stuff and being that presence in front, but what do you think kind of clicked for you this year in Green Bay and just got your point totals up?
Well, I think um, what helped is that I had played in the league before. It's a pretty big jump from high school hockey, but I played playoffs last year and the year before, so I kind of knew what to expect. And it's not an easy league to score in. So playing with a guy like Will Zellers and really helped me a lot, especially a guy that I had already had chemistry with, and also playing with Gino Carcone, another great player. Playing with two really good line mates, and we had really good chemistry, so that helped a ton. And then, I mean, we had a really good power play at Green Bay. We had an unreal power play coach, and I think we figured it out pretty quick. And we developed a lot of chemistry, and our power play was really good all year. So I think, really dialing in on our power play and having two good line mates to play with, along with previous experience in the USHL, I think all that stuff really helped me.
Yeah. Can you just kind of walk me through how and why you first started playing hockey? Obviously a Cali kid, not something that's as known in that area, but kind of just
Yeah.
why did you decide to play hockey?
Yeah. Growing up, I mean, it wasn't super popular. I mean, most kids play football or basketball or soccer. But my uncle actually played in the NHL. So when I was really little, I'd go to some of the games. And so he's kind of what got me into hockey in the first place. So I started skating when I was around 6, and I just fell in love with it right away. And it was all I really wanted to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna ask you, were there any other sports or kind of did you always know hockey was kind of your path?
I mean, I played other sports growing up. Like I played soccer. Um, I did taekwondo, which is like martial arts. So I did other sports, but I mean, I just always loved hockey more than anything else.
When did you kind of realize that it was potentially something you could do for your career, like kind of just something you could go to college for and just make sort of a living out of?
Um, I, I don't know. I think when you're a little kid, you're just kind of having fun. You don't really realize stuff like that. But I think when I went to Shattuck is when I kind of started to realize, because you're around uh, other unbelievable players and just competing with them and kind of realizing I could keep up with them is kind of what made me realize.
Can you just walk through kind of your career up to now and just kind of how you got to where you are now? Obviously, when you're U16, you were putting up 100 plus points and stuff, and obviously you're comfortable. Yeah, can you just walk me through kind of your junior career up to now?
Yeah, so I grew up playing for the LA Junior Kings, and then when I was 14 years old, COVID hit, and it was kind of unsure if there would be a season in California. So I decided to go to Shattuck, and it was the best decision I've ever made. It was tough. I mean, I'm an only child. My parents let me leave home at 14, but it was the best decision I ever made. I mean, those 4 years there were unbelievable. You know, from my teammates to the coaches to the teachers, just everyone. It was unbelievable. And I think it really developed me as a player and a person. And then, after those 4 years at Shattuck, I'd been drafted by Green Bay, and I'd played for them previously in playoffs. So, obviously, was going there, and I had a good year in Green Bay, and now I'm going to University of Michigan in the fall. So,
Getting into the draft a little bit, how do you feel heading into it? Obviously, like I mentioned, you're a redraft and stuff, but does that change anything for you? Just comfortability wise, like expectations, how do you feel?
yeah, I mean, I kind of went through it last year, so um, I don't, last year I thought I had a really good chance of getting drafted and didn't, and it was a huge disappointment. But I mean, there were times last year where I kind of think I thought about it too much, um, and I thought I'm at my best when I'm just playing hockey, just playing my game and having fun, not thinking about that stuff. So I try to make that a priority this year. Just go out there, have fun, play my game. So to be honest, I haven't really been thinking about it a lot. The way I see it is, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And regardless if I get drafted or not, I still have a lot of work to do if I want to play in the NHL. So obviously it'd be a huge honor to get drafted, but even if I don't, there's still a lot of work ahead. So um, yeah, just getting ready for whatever outcome it is, and just getting ready to work no matter what happens.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, personally, do you think you've done enough? Like, do you think there's left more on the table, or do you think you've done your best to hear your name being called and just kind of how do you go on with that?
Yeah, I mean, I can confidently say that I've worked my hardest and tried my absolute best to get picked this year, but um, you know, it's not up to me. My season's over. I've done what I can, and now it's up to teams deciding if they want to pick me or not. So I can confidently look in the mirror and say I did everything I can. But whether it happens or not, it's not up to me. So we'll see, I guess.
Yeah. Um, Using one word, how would you best describe your game?
Um, I'd say competitive. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask you about like your competitive level. Obviously, you love playing in playoff hockey and you
Yeah.
like to raise your compete for those kinds of games. But um, yeah, do you think you're a competitive person, just even on and off the ice, and just like in board battles and just all around, just a competitive person?
Yeah, I mean, even off the ice, I'd say I'm very competitive. It's just like little stuff, like even if in the summer I'm playing spike ball at the beach, or just little stuff like anything like that. I'd say I'm pretty competitive. And then on the ice, I just do anything it takes to win. So I try to be as competitive as possible. Whether it's like you said, a board battle or net front battle or back check, anything like that. So. Um, I think it's the biggest part of my game. It's a foundation of my game, and it's something that um, I'm gonna I'm gonna be a competitive player my whole career. So
What does a day look like for you off the ice? Like if you have an off day, what are some things you focus on? Maybe do just hang out with friends and stuff, or like what's something you focus on in the gym mainly?
yeah, so like in the summer, like as of right now, I'm taking some time away from the rink, away from the gym. I mean, it's been a long season, just resting up, and then when summer training starts, I'll work out like 9 a.m. in the morning. Um, and that's usually for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And then I work out with some of my buddies. So then, we'll go grab something to eat and then maybe head to the beach or play golf or something like that. Um, and away from the rink, I'm not great. I'm not good at golf at all, but it's always a good time. Just spend time with your buddies. And then, yeah, grew up in Cali, so love going to the beach. playing spike ball, hanging out, whatever. So yeah, that's kind of what a day in the life looks like in the off season when I'm not skating.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you if you play golf or not.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
pretty much every hockey player plays golf.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm terrible. It's always a good time, but I'm bad.
Yeah, going off of kind of a day in a life, what does a game day look like for you usually? Like your pre-game meal, kind of what you do before games and kind of how you get in your own zone a little bit.
Yeah. So yeah, this year in Green Bay, we didn't have morning skate. We would just come to the rink. We'd like do like a little dynamic warm up and have meetings. So I would just wake up, make breakfast, go to the rink, have our meetings and our dynamic warm up. After I'd come home, get a nap in, and then me and Will Zellers would go to Noodles and Company before as our pregame meal, and then come back, chill out for a little. I'd head to the rink pretty early, um, so I'd get to the rink like 2.5 to 2 hours and 45 minutes before puck drop. And I like to get there, take my sticks right away, listen to music, get dialed, play sewer with all the boys, and then yeah, that's about it. Nothing crazy, but yeah.
What was kind of transitioning into the WHL like then? Like for your pre-game stuff, like was that a big adjustment trying to figure out what to do before games? Because it was obviously different for you.
I mean, yeah, that part is always tough because I had because in Green Bay, I had a very I just I had that specific warm up before the game and like everything I would do on game day. But the way I look at it is you know, I think a good player should be able to play in whatever in any circumstances. And that was a lesson we learned at Shattuck. Like there's games where maybe there's traffic that the buses runs the traffic you wouldn't expect, and you have 30 minutes till puck drop, and stuff like that happened at Shattuck. And our coach always told us like good players can play in any circumstances. So the way I looked at it was, my pregame routine is going to be a little different, but if I want to be a good player, I need to be able to play through anything. So there were a couple of things that were different, but at the end of the day, I need to be able to play, even if my pregame routine is a little different. So I didn't think it was that big of a deal.
Yeah, for sure. Um, More about yourself and stuff again. If you had to sell yourself to an NHL team, how would you do it? Like, what sets you apart from obviously the other players available, and just kind of
Yeah.
what sets you apart makes you different?
Um, I would say I do whatever it takes to win. I'm a super competitive guy, love playing playoff hockey. And I'll play any role, do whatever it takes to win, and I can play up and down a lineup. Um, and I think the way I play, um, I think the way I play is built for playoffs, and I think I'm a type of guy that you want on your team to help you win a game. Whether it's taking a draw or blocking a shot or scoring a greasy goal at the end of the game. I think I'm the type of guy that you want on your team if you want to win. So yeah.
Yeah. Besides your uncle and stuff, obviously, did you have any favorite players growing up, and just kind of do you think you model your game after them a little bit, or is it just your favorites growing up?
My uncle played for the Penguins when I first started getting into hockey, so I kind of became a lifelong Penguins fan. So I grew up. Sidney Crosby was always my favorite player. I told my mom when I was like 8 years old, I saw that Sidney Crosby went to Shattuck, and I was like, I'm going to Shattuck because Crosby went to Shattuck, and she didn't believe me, but I actually ended up going, so it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up. Sid was always my favorite player. I don't model my game after him, but he was always my favorite player growing up.
Would you say there is any players that you kind of model your game after, or it resembles a little bit, kind of?
Yeah, I think my game has some resemblance to Anthony Cirelli on Tampa Bay. Just a 200-foot player, competes really hard, can be used in any situation. So I'd say he's my player comparison.
Yeah. Are you a guy that kind of watches a lot of tape and stuff, not just of your own, but kind of like,
Yeah.
do you watch the highlights? Do you keep up with the NHL? Like, are you always kind of in on that stuff?
Yeah, during the season, me and Will would we're just relaxing at home. We turn on an NHL game. And now that the playoffs are happening, I'm pretty much glued to the TV. once the playoffs are on. So yeah, I mean, I just enjoy everything about the game. So I really like watching hockey. And then even this year in Green Bay, we had our coaches would give us like what they thought were our player comparisons, and then you could always ask them to send to send your player comparison shifts. So for me, they compared me to Braden Point, so I'd ask them for Braden Point shifts sometimes, watch those, and try to implement some stuff in his game into my game. So
Just a few more questions and I'll let you go. But leading up to the draft and stuff, obviously with summer on the way here now and just kind of having a break. Um, have you had any noise around your name? Like, are people calling you now? Are you getting emails in and stuff? And I'm not sure how it works. I don't know if you got to get invited to the draft and the draft combine or how that works, but is that something on your mind as well? And you think you're going to attend?
yeah, so yeah, like I've talked to teams. Um and in terms of attending the draft, it's a little different this year.
Yeah.
Um it's so they're only inviting, I believe, the top 50 prospects. And it's actually in LA, and I'm going to be in LA for the time of the draft. But I'm going to the draft with my good buddy Riker Lee.
Oh yeah.
I'm just going as his guest because he's getting invited by the NHL to the draft.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be a good time. But yeah.
Yeah. So like I don't know if you'll know this, but like how does that work if you hear your name called while you're there just as a guest? Like do you get brought up? Like
I I I have no idea. I mean that would be a good problem to have, but
yeah.
I have no idea. I couldn't tell you. I haven't even thought about that, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah. What are your opinions on like that? Like do you think it's better like as it was last year where everyone can attend and like it's up to you and not just like the top 50 guys or however it is now?
I mean, I think it's cooler when anyone can attend. Because like, the kind of way they're doing it, like the NFL, like the green room sort of thing. I think it's a cool thing that anyone can attend that's kind of unique to hockey. But, you know, I I heard that it's like easier for the teams when, it's like remote now. So I don't know. I think it's cooler when everyone can attend. But I
Yeah.
mean, the one in the Sphere, I wasn't there, but like, my ton of my buddies, I have a lot of buddies that were there and they said it was unbelievable. So I think it's cooler when everyone goes. So
Yeah, I think so too.
yeah.
Yeah, just a few more questions here. Coaching style wise, what do you think you mesh the best with? Kind of just like offensive driven coaches, defensive, like coaches that demand a 200-foot game out of you, like, or can you kind of adapt to anything?
Throughout my career, I've played for just about every type of coach you could think of. So I think it kind of reflects my game, but I think I can play for any coach and adapt to any style. I mean, my coach at Shattuck was um, my coach at Shattuck for my junior and senior year on the prep team. He was all about playing a 200-foot game, playing the right way. And then offensively, keeping it pretty simple, just doing the right things, and then in Green Bay it was a little different. In Green Bay it was a little different, and then in Calgary it was a little different. So I think I can adapt to any coaching style because I think I've played for just about every coaching style. So and I think it reflects in my game how I can play any position, any situation. So yeah.
Yeah. What do you think the biggest differences are compared to leagues? Like obviously jumping from AAA to UCHL from then to the WHL so quickly. Like what were the biggest adjustments for you in such a short period of time?
Yeah, so the difference between high school and the USHL was huge for me. I mean, I played my first USHL games when I was 16, after or 17 after my high school season was over, and I remember being a little shocked by the pace and the physicality. It's just you're playing a bunch of guys that are older than you, faster than you, stronger than you. But then a couple years later after that, and this season, I feel like after 5-10 games in the USHL, I was fully adjusted, and you kind of start to see patterns, and you kind of start to feel out like what works and what doesn't, and you start to get more comfortable. So it was a huge jump from prep school, but I think after a few games, I was able to adjust. And then in terms of the USHL versus the WHL, I think the WHL has I think it has more high-end offensive talent because in the USHL most of the high-end offensive talent is already in college. So that was a big difference. But I mean, it's also tough. I only played 3 games, in a dogfight of a series, playing a different position. So it's tough to compare, but at the same time, the dub, it felt really fast. It was a very north-south style game with a lot of really good high-end offensive players. So I mean, both leagues are really good in their respective ways. And I think it was cool to kind of get to experience both before I go to college.
Yeah. Do you think both leagues will kind of help you and pave your way in the college ranks a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. I think just, getting as much experience as possible, playing the USHL, prep, WHL, for different coaches. I think it all helps pave your path, and all these different experiences will help you in the long run. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's all I got for you. Thanks for sitting down with me, taking the time.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Best of luck to you in the draft. Hope you hear your name this year.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, it was great talking to you.
Yeah, great talking to you. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
All right.